Okay, so wrapping this up, I have one last thing. What do
Yep.
you think the coolest or weirdest Joy-Con gimmick sliding controllers are going to be? All right, here's my idea, right? Okay, you're walking down the alley at night, right? Got off the train, wherever, as you do, late at night, you're playing your Switch, right?
As you
All
do.
of a sudden, from around the corner, two guys come. Hey, look at that nice Switch. Everyone knows people are going to be playing their Switches outside. I mean, iPhones have been stolen right out of people's hand for years. Guys come up to you, right? You got the Switchblade. Okay, you push a button, and two blades come out of either side, and it's like, hey, come at me, bro. I'm gonna cut you up while I finish this game of Splatoon. And then it's like, oh shit, and then they run away.
Do you write Nintendo's ads these days?
The Switchblade. I mean, Jesus, Evan. What the fuck?
No one's stealing that out of your hands, man. You got two knives.
The Switchblade. What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 30 of Podcast Reload. It's the general gaming podcast by some sifted.net subscribers, where we invite community guests onto the show to talk about the games industry in all its weird ways. I am your host, Finn Hill, and joining me as always is, of course, my co-host and fellow Japan dweller, Evan Piotrowski.
Hello, everyone.
And joining us as well is our community guest, and this week we have Josh, also known as FSBAlston.
Hello, guys.
Cool, so we haven't actually got... I don't think we've got any community corrections, apart from the fact that we couldn't remember the last name of Barry from Resident Evil. What was it in the end? Barry...
It's Barry Burton. Which is like... I don't know how we didn't both... I mean, it is Barry, but we should have remembered his name. It should roll off the tongue.
You know, somehow I glossed over
Elmo.
listening to one of your shows that I didn't hear you guys miss that part, because I would have immediately commented and corrected you.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe his name is Barry Burton.
Well, actually, guys, it's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Internet troll for the day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, whatever. Call that one out. That's fine. Yeah, Barry Burton. Burton's his last name.
But yeah, like I always forget, because every other like Resident Evil character, you sort of remember their last name straight after their first name, but Barry is always just Barry. You know, like Jill Valentine. You can't say Jill without saying Valentine when you're referring to a character, but Barry's just Barry. I don't know. Anyway, this.
It's because Burton sounds pretty close to Barry, so it's just you sound like you're hearing his name twice.
But
Right,
it's
Ben.
like
Yeah,
it's almost like talking about celebrities. It's like, oh yeah, I was watching Brad in that movie. Like what? Yeah, Brad
Right,
Pitt.
yeah.
Like you aren't on a first name basis.
Right, yeah.
Hey,
I am
Brad,
with
how's it
Barry
going?
though. No, Vin and I are on a first name basis with Barry. That's the only reason that we
I know, right?
his last name.
Good old Barry.
Good old Barry.
Good old
Always
Barry.
there when you need him.
Right, moving on. We've actually got a new game to play with you, Josh.
Oh, God. What is it?
Yep, we're going to play... what are we going to play? We're going to play Save or Kill. And Save or Kill, it's a game where you basically choose two things from the games industry. It could be a person, it could be a game title, it could be a franchise, it could be a series, whatever. Something to do with two games. And you've got to choose to either save or kill one. But if you do save one, you have to know that the other one is getting thrown into the Gate of Oblivion. And you're never going to see it again. So choose wisely. Are you ready, sir?
Hit me with it.
Cool. Number one, Mario or Sonic?
Sonic. We got enough Mario crap out there. Give me a good Sonic.
True. Very true. Okay, Elder Scrolls or Fallout?
Elder Scrolls or Fallout? Dang. I know I'm going to catch heat for this because I'm not a big fan of fantasy games, but I do like more modernized or science fiction-y like games, so I'm going to say Fallout.
Fair play.
Don't kill me, Skyrim players. I'd pick Fallout.
I'm coming for you, Josh. I'm coming.
But only because of my preference. If it was anybody else, they'd probably say Elder Scrolls.
No, it's all fair. It's a personal list, so no more Elder Scrolls for anyone because Josh said so.
Yep.
Right, next one. Diablo or StarCraft?
Dang.
I'm purposely picking like PC titles because I know you're more of a fan for that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You're also picking ones I haven't touched much lately.
Yeah.
I want to say StarCraft because, again, we need more StarCraft. We got plenty of Diablo out there. We got plenty of expansions. 3 is still being heavily supported. I mean, we need more StarCraft.
Fair play. Cool. Next one, Uncharted or Tomb Raider?
Don't hate me because I know both of you are gonna kill me. Shane's gonna kill me when he hears this. Tomb Raider.
I play.
And that was Podcast Reload episode 30. I'd like to thank our guest, Josh, a.k.a. FSBAlston, for coming on the show.
I'm sorry. If I had to pick between two of the same thing, I'd rather watch a nice piece of ass running down the wilderness.
See, that is the exact reason why I always pick like a female character on games, and my fiance is always looking. She's like, "Why do you always choose women?" It's like, well, I'm gonna stare at an ass for 500 hours. I might as well choose a good one.
You just perfectly described one of my my team members that I play with from an old game, Star Trek Online, Massey. That was the one thing he always used to say. Like, everybody asked him, like, why do you play a female character? And he was like, wouldn't you want people look at that piece of ass all day?
Amen. And I've literally met female gamers as well that have said the exact same thing about the opposite. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to stare at a dude's ass all day. It might as well be a nice one. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, moving on from asses. We need another one. Call of Duty or Battlefield?
Battlefield.
Good man.
You know why I picked Battlefield. You and I both are right there.
Yeah, man. It's sick of them Future Warfare ones. That's what I'm sick of.
Oh, actually, Josh, you're the one that broke the news to us that Battlefield 1 was...
that was it.
Yeah, that was a classic moment.
You guys
believe
use
it.
that as the cut into your show.
Well, that's how long it's been since you've been on the show, by the way.
Yeah, I said Battlefield 5. We didn't even know the name was yet.
Yeah, wow. Okay, moving on, sorry.
Long time ago, yeah. What else have we got here? Doom or Wolfenstein?
Doom. I'm tired of Wolfenstein. Give me more good Doom. This last year, that was a surprise.
Okay, The Witcher or Dark Souls?
Oh, damn.
That's a good one.
Do I pick the game that like does everything right for open world, or do I pick the game that does everything right for hardcore gamers? It's just, oh my god.
This one's pretty savage.
I'm gonna get eviscerated no matter which one I pick, but ooh, damn. Probably I would have to say The Witcher.
Fair play. Okay, and the last one.
There's been 4 Dark Souls, there's been one Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But there's only been 3 Witchers, and one of them is probably the only one worth it.
This is true. I haven't actually played that one yet. That is my game when I get to the States. I'm going to play The Witcher 3 a lot, I think, because, yeah, we've been through this a million times, but that game scares me of how good it looks.
I need to go back and finish it. I'm not a big fantasy guy, so it's hard to motivate myself, but I liked what I saw.
Yeah, you must be excited for Cyberpunk by the same studio, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, last one. Just to quickly top this one off. U-Bowl or Phil Fish?
Phil Fish, because at least he makes a game. He can make a good game. Uwe Boll just sucks.
Hey, man.
All right,
cool.
Okay, actually, I got one more for you, Josh. This is off the top of my head. Picard or Kirk?
Kirk.
Oh,
I like
Kirk.
Picard.
Wow, that was quick.
I like Picard. He's a good leader, but he's too PC. And by the way, you should have thrown Cisco in there because I would have picked him instead.
I don't know who that is.
He's the one on DS9.
I am so confused right now, but it's okay.
Deep Space Nine, right?
Yeah,
Space
it's a Star Trek question. Yeah, you just hit a real Trekkie with a question. You better expect some flack for that.
Oh yeah, that's what I deserve. All right, yeah,
it's all good.
All
right, let's move on. Evan, what have you been playing this week, man?
I think it hasn't even been a week since we've actually recorded the last podcast. We've been loading them in, but I've actually been jumping back into Dying Light. Yeah, more like fucking dying motivation because
I need to finish playing that game too.
I don't know, man. Like I just hit Old Town.
Shit, man, I haven't played that game in a year and a half. I have no idea.
It's the second section of the game where you're pretty much constantly on rooftops.
Oh, okay, right.
And the rooftops are
you're quite far in then.
Yeah, so once I got there, I was like, oh my god, they should have started the game here because this place is way more fun. Not only to traverse, because you have like power lines connecting buildings and like zip cords to fly through, but it just looks interesting. The buildings, the architecture, everything stands out, where Haran is just like an awful, horrid place to be. Like at least the Dead Island series had like some greenery and jungle to look at. Like I like the game, but I am so fucking frustrated by that game more than I'm having fun. And I just remember, like one of the things about these games, even the Dead Island games, is when you first start off, it's kind of scary to get into fights with zombies because you're just not powerful enough. You're mostly running away or picking your fights, like leading a single zombie into one place and finishing them off one by one. But then as the games progress, you're supposed to feel like a badass. And I'm really, really far into the game, and I still don't feel that way. Just because I don't know, like in the old games, like I would have like double electric claws, and I jump into like a group of zombies and I just smash them all. And in this game, I'm still playing tag with them. Like it takes fucking forever to kill zombies in this game, and it just drives me nuts.
Thinking about it now, actually, like the way I played it a lot more like I'm just running the fuck away from them, sort of thing. Like I just avoided them.
Right, which
yeah, I like, played the objectives more myself. Yeah,
right. So like I think this is a good conversation to have, really, because the way I played it is completely different to how you want to play it, right? So you're in it to kill zombies, where I was avoiding them, and you're not feeling like a badass, like to actually kill them effectively, sort of thing. Like I wouldn't have known about this, so
sure.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Interesting.
So then, I totally understand what you're saying, because you're a big Mirror's Edge fan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I never played Catalyst. I played Mirror's Edge, which I really, really liked, and so the whole
glad you didn't play Catalyst.
Well, Vin, you actually kind of liked that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was great, but I don't think it was bad either. You know, it was more Mirror's Edge.
It was more forgettable. Like, you remember the first Mirror's Edge. This one was just kind of like, I don't even remember most of it, and I haven't finished it. It just bored me.
But anyways, so yeah, like I like the parkouring aspects of this game, but another thing, this is something that really pissed me off with the Legend of Zelda games when they introduced the stamina meter. It goes down way too fast. Like it's not realistic. Like how long do you think you could? I can probably run to jog for a solid hour. 8 solid seconds, and like my guy can jump off a building, drop 2 floors, and just grab a corrugated metal with the tips of his fingers and pick himself up. But he can't. He can't sprint longer than 10 seconds. It's like, I understand the idea of putting, kind of blocking some progression in terms of stamina.
Right.
But like, it's not enough. Like at this point in the game, I should be able to run. Like, why even put a stamina meter in there? I should just be able to sprint through the entire game. It should be fun, and I'm just like, I'm constantly running out of breath, and like, I guess the whole idea is like, you should still feel that fear, like the zombies are chasing you, not just running past them. But I would argue like that is infinitely more fun to have, to just be able to sprint through everything. And okay, so one reason why this is for people who haven't played the game, most of the zombies in the game just kind of like slowly hobble around and are just easy to get away from. They're pretty much a joke.
Until the night falls.
Until the night, which is another part that I fucking hate about the game. Like I never go out at night.
I never go out at night. I still love the game. I think it was great.
But even during the daytime, there are like I don't even know what they call them, like feral zombies that are like highly agitated. They'll just pop up on the map. Like there'll be like a group of zombies, and then one of them will be agitated, and they will follow you, and they will not stop, and they can actually climb stuff and jump. And one thing that annoys me is later in the game, when you're supposed to be more powerful, when you're supposed to have more stamina, when the game that has parkouring in it is like, the whole thing about the game is like, you've come to this point and you should be bashing zombies, you should be kicking them out of the way, jumping over them, jumping on rooftops and stuff. But the further you progress in the game, the more feral, agitated zombies pop up, to where you can't get away from them because your stamina meter runs out. They will catch up to you. And so what you have to do is constantly stop what you're doing to fight them and then continue on, and it just keeps happening. So
Yeah,
like
it's really strange. Like just listening to this, like I never had any of these problems. I think it's
Because you
just
and I didn't
different.
stick around trying to clear out crowds.
But
Yeah, maybe.
like you know what I'm talking about, right?
No,
Because
yeah, I 1000%
those zombies
understand.
do not stop. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I jumped across 2 rooftops, climbed up some rocks, and got to a bridge. And the zombie that was chasing me from below found me and got back up there. So I had to constantly stop what I was doing to kill it to start. And it's like at some point, that whole game is just going from A to B. It's all
Right.
collecting missions. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
after a couple of hours of like going from A to B and back and forth to the tower, it's like I just want these zombies to stop fucking following me. Either that or just put no fucking hold on the stamina meter. And it's it's so like I'm playing the game, I'm going to finish it, but I just don't understand these design choices to take out the fun of the game when it's like in Zelda. It's like why is there a stamina meter? What are you trying to prove? Nothing else about the game is realistic, so why put that limitation?
See, now I gotta go back and play my copy of the game because I never finished
Yeah,
mine. And
I'm
now you're
really
going,
curious.
I don't remember
I'm
this
really
being
curious.
that frustrating.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'm
Like,
quite curious
I
to go
just
back
played
and
it
just
this
try it out
morning.
now.
And it's like I just have to keep stopping to kill these zombies because they're chasing me, and then I have to do stupid missions at night, and it's I don't know. I had a way. I think Dying Light is a better game, probably, but in terms of fun, just pure fun, I had a way better time with Riptide.
Fair play.
But yeah, sorry, that was a long one.
No.
That was
it
an interesting
to
little
hear.
take. Like, you talked me into playing the game again by complaining about it.
All right, we should. We'll have to. We'll talk about it on Sifted in the forums at some point. I think we can trade opinions on it. All right, so I think Vin, you said you haven't really played much.
I haven't played
this
anything.
week.
I've been playing South Park: The Fractured But Whole, if that counts. But other than that, man, yeah, I've had a busy week. I'm preparing to move to America in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so everything is up in the air right now. So I haven't actually been playing anything. So
You picked the perfect time to come to our country.
I know, right? Tell me about it. Hey, man, I get 2 days. I get 2 whole days of Obama, so I'm happy. That's more than none.
That is.
But
more
anyway,
than
yeah, Josh, what have you been playing, man?
You guys are going to be a little surprised by this, although I did kind of say I revisited it because of an expansion, but The Division.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when did
Survivor
that come
brought
out?
me-
March, April.
Yeah, March or April. I actually don't remember the date, but I'm pretty sure it was April.
Yeah, it was early in the year. I remember.
So when did you How long in between you played the game till when you picked it back up? How many months passed?
I played it for a month and then got tired of it, and then I came back for the first expansion, Underground, which was like a couple months later or a month later.
Okay.
And that was boring to me, so I left after a week. But Survivor mode brought me back in December.
Okay.
And it hooked me back in. And then my teammates from my old games were playing the Division 2, and I helped them level up, and then we're all playing like these end-game content together, and I've just been stuck on it again. I don't know why, but now the game is far more interesting to me.
So break it down. Like, what actually is Survivor mode, and what do you do in it, and why is it different from the main game? Because I've literally got no idea. Like, I've got the game on my system, but I've no idea.
In a nutshell, irregardless of what level you are, what gear you've got, you get a storm comes in and pretty much blankets New York. At the same time, you locate some kind of special virus that you've been looking for. You have to go to the dark zone, so you get in the helicopter while the storm is approaching. But then the storm, of course, screws things up. Helicopter goes down. You get thrown out in a random location on the edge of the map. And it's the entire map in a winter storm. You have no gear. You have only the hazmat clothes that you have on, so you have to find clothes to stay warm, so the cold can kill you. The sepsis from an injury that you sustain can kill you. The other players, if you play the PvP mode, the other players could kill you while they're trying to gear up. The NPCs on the map from the lowest level can kill you because you literally only start with pistol. And you work your way towards the dark zone. It could take anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how you play it. But you literally start with a pistol, and you have to get all your gear and build it back up, get your weapons, build it back up, go to certain landmarks in order to try to take down some mini bosses and take their gear. Make your craft certain materials you need to get into the dark zone, including a virus filter. Use antibiotics to hold off the sepsis that's killing you. Once you get into the dark zone, things get even crazier because the NPCs are all freaking insanely overpowered there. And then try to get the virus you're looking for, and then craft a flare gun, call for an extraction. And when you go to that extraction, a special NPC called a hunter appears for you. And this dude has like all of the skills you could ever have, and disrupts you off the bat. And he makes your life a living freaking hell.
Right.
Are you sure you're not playing Dark Souls?
Yeah, dude,
Feels like
this sounds
Dark
rough.
Souls, what, H1Z1? I mean, battle arena game. Call it what you want. This like takes Division and completely remodels it.
So you're basically like you're monitoring everything and are just pretty much have a counter, and you're prolonging the inevitable almost, right?
Yeah.
You just always
like your
on
end
edge.
game is to get get extracted and back to base, but the whole time is like you got to worry about dying from a sickness, dying from the cold, getting shot at.
Wow, this is not. I mean, just if anyone listened to the end of the last podcast, you can tell like I get frustrated. Not pretty easily, but like, when this is not for me, is what I'm trying to say. There's no way I could. This is like
it has a different feel to it, and like it's not overly difficult. That like when the first few times you do it, you're gonna get ganked like early, like as you're trying to figure out how the mechanics fit together. You'll die in 5-10 minutes. One time I died 5 times in a row, like just barely out of the starting door. But once you get the hang of it and you get the feel for it and how everything clicks together, you literally start grinding this. Sometimes you try to prolong it for long as you can, trying to find everything you can and see how powerful you can get before you get to the end point. And it feels a lot more fun. And there's rewards tied into it, including stuff that you can collect in the map that can apply to your main character in the game anyways. But the survival mode itself is a separate mode. It doesn't matter how powerful you are in the game. It doesn't matter how geared up you are. Everybody starts on a level playing field.
I think that's a smart design choice, because people who are interested in getting in, if they're thinking like I'm just going to get in there and get destroyed, but in this case it's like no, yeah, everyone starts on the same playing field, so you could actually just jump in without. Yeah,
it boils down to how much skill and how much experience you have with survivor mode.
Sure. So you're having a good time then, I imagine.
Oh yeah,
sounds like
I'm loving it.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
And I'm actually playing the standard game over and over again and finding that actually more interesting to play now.
Oh, see, that's cool. I mean, that's kind of what that stuff is supposed to do, right? Get you back into the game in one form or another.
Of course, ask me in a month and see if I'm still playing.
Sure. All right.
Cool. Yeah, so we should move on. We're going to move on into our main topics. I'm going to kick off with yours, Josh. So do you want to talk about what your topic is for this week?
Well, everybody's talking about Game Awards or talking about what they're looking forward to 2017. I thought I'd just wrap it all up and say, bring up everybody's New Year's gaming resolutions for this year.
Yeah, it's a good one. How about you, man? Like, we'll kick off with you because this is your subject. Like, what's the biggest gaming New Year's resolution that you've actually got?
Resident Evil.
Yeah,
I got to see how I got to see how they're trying to change the whole game, but I'm hoping they did everything right.
So are you a Resident Evil fan? Or is it...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I've never really heard you bring up Resident Evil on the site. That's why it kind of came out of left field.
I'm not one of those people that... How do I put it this way? I'm a big PC gamer, but I don't bash people over the head with it.
Sure.
And when somebody was like, I like gamepad over keyboard, I'll go quick to their defense. I even defend some console fanboys sometimes. I'm a fan. And I'll get excited about some, but I'm not going to sit there and bash someone's heads in with it.
Makes sense.
Right. So how do you, coming into, as much as we know about Resident Evil 7 at this point, I know there's been a lot of spoiler stuff out there right now, but like when you first saw that the game that they showed at E3 was Resident Evil 7, like how did you feel about it at that point in time?
You ever played Alien Isolation?
I have not. I know a lot about it, but I haven't played it.
Well, let's just say it gave me that feeling, and I thought to myself when I played Alien Isolation, I was like, now if they could make a Resident Evil game like this, it would be awesome.
Oh, really? Well, there you go.
The level of tension they can create with this kind of game. And it's like Outlast or like Amnesia, like the kind of tension they create in those games. And it's funny because those games take their inspiration from Resident Evil because Resident Evil started that entire genre.
Yeah.
So,
It's like an
Sort of
Uncharted
ironic.
Tomb Raider kind of cycle.
That's
where-
I was about to say that. I mean, because
yeah,
we obviously
one
started
has
out with Tomb
inspired
Raider.
the other,
yeah.
then it's now
And then
inspiring the
backwards
first
again.
one again. Yeah.
So
But
is this like a January 24th buy for you?
It's already pre-ordered.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I'm
But saying
getting
that,
it
Matt,
on
are you
PC, so obviously I get a discount.
Sure.
are you interested in VR at all? Like, are you going to play it in VR, or is it strictly for just the core experience?
Unfortunately, I'm in that situation in life where I have to not be completely immersed in something. That's why I don't do VR, and that's why I also see VR being a niche thing. But
Yeah.
one of these days, if I'm in a good financial situation later this year, maybe.
So
That's about my best answer. But no.
So Star Trek Bridge Crew isn't gonna pull you over to the whole VR thing?
Don't get me wrong, I like the new movies, but I'm not as interested in playing a VR simulator based
That
on
makes
it.
sense.
And
All right.
I'm not gonna buy a VR headset for one game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what it is, right? Have you played the any of the demos for Resident Evil 7?
It just came out on PC. I've been debating because I don't want to spoil myself. I know the demos don't directly tie into the game, but they will. I'm sure they're going to provide background context or something. So
like it's almost out anyways. Like I would say,
Yeah.
don't even do it because the
But
game's
I was
coming out in
thinking-
a couple weeks.
I've been debating doing it just to test the specs
Okay, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
because
that
I
might
have
be a good idea.
PC. Yeah. But other than that, I don't want to play it through. I have seen one playthrough when the first demo came out, and that's
way back when.
After
Okay.
yeah, the home demo, and I just I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to spoil it for myself.
All right. That's a good one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game once you actually buy it
once
and
it's out.
start playing.
That's probably going to be my last thoughts for a few months too, considering
Sure.
all the craziness I got to deal with lately.
Yeah. How about you, Evan? Like, what is the top of the list for 2017? Like, not games that are already out or whatever, because I know you've got like a massive backlog, but like games that are coming out this year. Have you got anything that's right at the top? That like, okay, I've got to play that. That's the big one.
Oh, see, I was going to tackle this from a completely different angle, but actually, I would say my resolution, aside from keeping my backlog to a minimum,
Right.
which is something I really want to work on, even though I have 40 games for my PlayStation 4,
Jesus.
and I've only owned it for 2 months. I finished a lot of those games, but they're smaller games like 10 hours or 4 hours, 5 hours in that.
So you beat Inside, have you?
Oh my god, in a sitting. What a game.
Yeah, I've got that ready for me. I still haven't got around to that one. I need to.
Yep.
That'll be the next one on my
Taking
list.
that long.
I'm waiting for the
that is
text.
next
I'm
one.
waiting for the text, Vin. When I see you text me, oh Jesus, I'm gonna know exactly what game you're playing. But yeah, aside from actually finishing games, just not jumping around to 5 games, which I do a lot. I kind of want to just focus on picking up a game and beating it. And
One
there
at a
might
time.
be the game where I just got to be real with myself and say, Evan, you're not really having a really good time with the game. Just you don't have to beat every single game. Move on to a game you want to play and then finish that game. So I want to work on that. But I think my main thing is I want to beat Persona 4. I want to beat Persona 5.
Persona 5, yeah.
It's just, and the reason, like, it's almost like The Witcher 3 for you, Vin, and I know it's slightly different, but it's such a mountain of a game. It's at least 100 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of those things where I don't even want to start it because it's so long, which doesn't really make sense, but kind of does, like psychologically.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So mine is just to beat Persona 5. I have a plan. I am lining up a couple games that I have in my backlog. I'm going to finish Dying Light. I might
It's kind of this is kind of funny because it's like some sort of AA meeting or something for Evan because it's like I have a problem, I have a backlog, and I never finish games. And
Said
I
every
need to-
Steam
I know, right?
user ever.
Yeah, right.
A story of our lives, right? And then afterwards, it's okay. I've got a plan to tackle this. I'm going to do this. It's got like the 5-step plan going, and it's hilarious.
There must be like 3 or 4 blogs on Sifted about it right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but
about backlogs,
I want to get to Persona 5. I have one more game after Dying Light that I want to tackle, and then I am going to dive into it, or at least that's what my resolution is. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what I keep telling myself. All right, so yeah, mine is to actually pick up and continue to play and ultimately beat Persona 5. Vin, how about yourself? What is your New Year's gaming resolution?
Well, I think we've all got the same resolution on some level. You know, everyone's got a pile of shame, as Erebus Jones calls it, and I think we all need to chip through it. And mine's no different in that respect. But I don't know. Like the major resolution I've got is probably finish The Witcher 3 because everyone's been talking about it for so freaking long. And now I've finally got some space to actually do it.
That's going to be your next Skyrim.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, and I know that, and that's why I've never actually gone to it. So, like, I think that's the big one for me. But other than that, like, I would hope that one of my resolutions would be to hopefully buy some more Nintendo games this year.
Yeah, that's a positive one. Yeah, at least.
I would say that a resolution more like a hope that the Switch is that good.
Right. It's like a hope of a resolution. I mean, if the Switch is good, then one of my resolutions would be to pick up a Switch and actually dive back in.
God, Console Wars Episode 4, New Hope. I just made a Star Wars reference. Shoot me down.
Poor guy. It's alright, just put Picard at the start of one of them, and that'll be fine. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I haven't owned a Nintendo system since the GameCube. The Wii just did not interest me whatsoever with the control schemes. I didn't get the gimmick. I didn't like it. Every game that I played on it just didn't click with me. And then the Wii U came out, and that just tanked. And it's been a long time, basically. So hopefully, I
had the Wii for only one reason. It's good for when you have company. Well, I didn't have kids then, but it's good for when you have company.
That's a good point. Like when the only time I ever saw a Wii console, like in England, with any of my friends or any family or anything like that, it was either Christmas or when people were trashed. Like them two instances were the only times I saw a Wii. It was like, yeah,
just don't have a plasma TV at the time.
Right. Okay. Controller sticking out of it and stuff. So yeah, I'd like to hope that is one of my resolutions to eventually like get around to playing some more Nintendo games. So.
Yeah, I mean, we will definitely find out soon whether or not or how enticing it's going to be, at least from the get-go, you know, from its March release.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
mine is going to be my full-term resolution, like by the end of this year, is to at least have a complete new rig built.
Oh, that's a good one. It's a daunting task.
That's a good one.
I'm going to be... Without giving too much public information, I'm going to be dealing with the big transitional event, and that's going to give me more space, so I can't have my machine where my desk is and where my entertainment center is, so I want to build a new one just for the entertainment center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, because I've been living in Japan and stuff, I always knew that I would probably be moving away and stuff. I've never gotten around to building a PC, but the second that I get settled somewhere, I do want to build a gaming PC. That is on one of my lists, but I just don't know if it's going to be this year. I hope it would be, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly and just build an absolute temple of a machine, basically, and do it properly. But I haven't.
Well, if you're in the UK or the US, you're going to find a whole lot of people on Sifted willing to help you. A lot of us going to PC part pick the crap out of it.
Amen. So yeah, that would be on my list if I get settled this year and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, that's a good one as well.
Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of Switch. Switch.
Oh, are we switching to another topic?
Yes, we are switching it up.
They're just like over there. Oh, lordy.
Wait, are we? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna switch out. Jesus Christ, Evan, that is ridiculous.
Bad puns given when you don't want them the most.
Yeah, come on.
All right, yeah. Going over to a Podcast Reload's topic, we're going to obviously speak about an event which is happening pretty soon. I don't know if anyone's heard about this, but Nintendo are apparently showing off their new console on the 12th of January. Is that when the event is?
Yeah, 12th. I don't know when. I know it's 1:00 on January 13th in Japan. So I'll be at work, so I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so yeah, they're doing a new event. Obviously, they're gonna show off the system. Hopefully, give us a price and a proper release date and a decent lineup. There's obviously been a colossal amount of rumors surrounding this thing for the past almost 2 years now. But
And
we're
the
going to
majority of
sort
them been right. That's a sad thing.
yeah, totally true. And just sort of want to go over our thoughts on it, what our hopes and dreams are of it, and what we actually think the predictions are going to be, and all this sort of stuff. So let's dive right in. Evan, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I guess we could tackle. Do you want to tackle like price in games now, or do you want to go through?
Yeah, let's just dive right into it. Like, what feels right as in price? Like, what would you like to see, and what do you think it's going to be? Because I know they are two separate things. They are for me, at least. So, like,
at this point, it's almost like everyone's saying 250 or 300. It's like betting red or betting black on the roulette table at this point. It really seems like it could be either.
250 or dead on arrival. I'm just going to say it now.
Okay, so
USD, by the way.
Right. Okay, so you're saying that 300 is too much, Josh.
I'm saying for the general consumer to look at something like that for being a portable device, why not just get a tablet? And that's going to be their justification for not getting it when they see it at 300.
And they can get it subsidized through their carrier.
They get it subsidized through their carrier even, and get mobile data and do a whole lot of other crazy things with it.
Yeah. I mean, I want it to be 250, and I will say 250. I'm planning on 250. I don't know, Vin. What do you think? Price?
I think because there's been a lot of rumors about a 2-tier sort of console. So there's going to be one. The rumors are there's going to be one that's 250 and it's only got a 32 gig hard drive.
That's right.
A 32 gig hard drive is a fucking joke. I'm sorry, but it is. That is laughably bad. We live in 2017, for Christ's sake. There's a lot of gamers that have switched to all digital, myself included, and I don't think 32 gig is going to cut it. Then, obviously, there's the rumors that there's going to be a second tier, which is a $300 bundle, which comes with a game and maybe a higher hard drive, or a bigger hard drive, sorry.
Yeah, so, that's insane. By the way, I have a 32 gig mini SD in my phone right now. It's
a joke, man. I mean, that's the thing.
My wife will blow through a 32 gig in about 6 months. I have to have her automatically saved to cloud storage to keep her storage open.
Right, there you go. And I mean, like maybe the thing's got a decent SD card slot on it or something, and I can get a 500 gigabyte.
That's
SD
probably
card
going to be the only thing that's going to save the hard drive space on that,
right?
Because that's probably going to be another failing point on that. It's like, why do I want to buy game cartridges when, again, on a tablet, everything just goes loaded in there?
Exactly. So, but I mean, there's a lot of things to do with price around that specifically. I mean, if the hard drive is good, then it's probably going to be more expensive. But the hard drive's terrible, then it's going to be cheaper. And it's if I buy a $250 like base model, which has only got a 32 gig, and then I have to spend up to $100 for a decent SD card to actually carry all the games that I want to play on it, then it's going to cost me $350 regardless. So it's this weird sort of balance right now. I would like to see it as low as possible. Obviously, I think it would really help the console actually break out, like in the race that it's about to start. So I would hope that it's at 250. I'm pretty sure it is going to be at 250 with a 32 gig. But it's rough on that side of it.
All right, so Josh, how about yourself? What are you thinking in terms of price?
Well, like I said, 250 or go home.
Oh, 250 or go home?
Yeah. I mean,
do you actually think it's going to be that, though? That's the real
ignore
question.
all the bundles, the multiple tiers, whatever. There has to be a model at 250. If it's not there, if it's not there, it's not appealing at the price, it's going to hurt coming out the gate.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing around the price of it more than anything is like how well it can do at the beginning. It's not even about like me as a personal consumer. I'm looking at this as like the broad global market. Like it will do much better if it's cheaper, even if it's got a terrible hard drive or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would hope so too.
All right, I will move on to one thing. I really hope that Nintendo does not stick to their game naming conventions as they've done in the past with things like Super Metroid, Super Mario, Mario 64, Mega Man 64.
Mario Switch, Metroid Switch.
Like I heard the leaked name was Super Mario Switcheroo, and it's like,
oh no,
it's such a dumb name.
Hey Vin, you really hate bad puns? That'll be really bad.
God, that's not even.
Like, okay, someone could argue like Super Metroid sounds stupid, but because it's the name that we've always known, it like just sounds normal now. But I cannot see a game coming out called Metroid Switch. Like, doesn't make any sense. Or they
And
did
watch him bake in a gimmick too that makes it sound like Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you remember, Josh? I think on the DS they had a Resident Evil 1 port. It was called Resident Evil DS. It was called like Dual Survivor or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Because do you get it? It's on the DS, so Resident Evil Dual Survivor. It's like I don't understand why they stick to those cheesy naming conventions, because it just
I guess it's fun. That's the only thing I can say about it.
But like new Super Mario Brothers Wii U, like what?
It's simpler than that. It's, hey, look, this game goes with this system. It's easier to associate that, and then when you look at the game and you don't know about the system, it's Super Nintendo Super. Okay,
Yeah.
It's stupidly simple, but it's also kind of absurd at times when you hear it.
Yeah, but then at other times it backfires, because the first Super Mario 3D game was not 3D game as in like a 64, but Super Mario 3D Land, which was on the 3DS. That's why it was called 3D Land. But then when they made the successor to that, basically, which was the Wii U game, they used Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
Which is Super Mario World is the Super Nintendo game. And they just added a 3D to it, but it's like, well, they've always been 3D, so that naming convention doesn't make... Exactly.
Also, keep this in mind. The naming convention started after the NES. It wasn't started in the NES, because Super Mario Brothers has existed since NES.
Right. I mean, but they've done a lot of that stuff, like with the Famicom. Like they had the Famicom Wars game, and they've always put the names of their systems like into their games. Which this is a really small thing. Let's
like
move
Advance
on.
Wars? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
They stole that from the game that they got the code from, which is Conflict.
All right. That's the thing.
Like, speaking of games, like,
speaking of games.
Speaking of games with stupid names, that should be a title somewhere. Games with stupid names. What games are we looking to see for release? Not like what games are coming in the pipeline, but what do you think is actually going to coming out in March when they've said this thing is coming out? What games are we looking at?
Definitely that Super Mario Switcheroo game is coming out. I hope that's not the name.
It's horrible. Oh, Jesus.
It's just from what I've heard and seen.
No, I mean, the thing that pains me about it is, like, I know that it is probably the official title. That's what pains me. Like,
whatever. We'll all get over it, but it just, at this point, it sounds dumb. I mean, like, it's a Mario game with the heart of the Mario 64. Sign me up. Those games have always been really good. Yeah. I mean, the last proper 3D game we had was 3D World, and before that with the Galaxy games, and those are all awesome games. So that's the game I'm most looking forward to, and I think it's going to be a launch game for sure. All right, Josh, what do you think in terms of games?
I have no clue, to be honest, but I see all these leaked lists, and I could probably say Monster Hunter, Dragon Quest, or Givens. Probably one more Japanese game, but I wouldn't want to bet on it as which one it would be. And I have no idea, but maybe Ubisoft could squeeze Steep in there.
Yeah, it might be a possibility.
I mean, Steep is not that difficult to run. I can imagine they could slip that in there too.
I can't remember what engine Steep's on, actually. I'm not even sure.
I don't think it's on Snowdrop.
No, neither do I.
It should be on Snowdrop.
It doesn't look like it.
I know, right?
It could be, but it doesn't
like,
look
naming convention wise, I mean, and the style of it, it would make sense. It probably is on Snowdrop. Well, South Park's on Snowdrop. That's some insider info wherever.
Okay, I have a prediction in terms of a game. So, I think it's already on the Virtual Console, or it just got released. Pokemon Snap, the Nintendo 64 game, just got released on Virtual Console, and so I'm thinking they're trying to lead up to something.
Pokemon Switch.
Like a Pokemon Snap Switch.
Yeah, there's
game.
a rumor that there's a Pokemon game being announced at the event called Pokemon Stars. That's been floating around for a while.
Honestly, and I should have mentioned that too, but honestly, at this point, it should be a given Pokemon's going to make an appearance.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know though, because we've just had Sun and Moon come out. Pokemon Go obviously had a massive influence this year, but is it too soon after
no.
Sun and Moon?
Nintendo, no.
I mean, I don't know. For all the people that don't play their 3DS anymore or don't have a 3DS, if you have the option of playing Sun and Moon Switch version basically on your Switch. Like that would be
don't
for
know.
me.
I
to
can
be
attest
honest.
to you, Pokemon players, and I don't mean this in any disrespect. Pokemon players are the most unreasonably obsessed players I've met, and I have a few friends like this. They still play their DSs, and they still do stuff on Pokemon and Animal Crossing, like those two games specifically. They will. They've even said if there's a Pokemon game out, they're getting the Switch day one.
This is the thing, though. Like, I don't know if that will happen because basically what Nintendo are doing by using this console, I've said this before, I've said this to Evan as well. It's like you're asking all of your developers that are working on 3DS to switch, no pun intended, to literally switch or move from the 3DS to this system, which is pretty much jumping from a PS1 graphical capability to maybe like a late PS3 capability. Like, you're making them jump like 3 generations. I don't know if the developers are ready for that, especially the Pokemon guys.
Yeah, having the touchscreen on is going to help, and I imagine it wouldn't be that difficult to design the Joy-Cons to work sideways and have the thing in the vertical mode, and they could just run a DS emulation of the game or like literally port the DS version over.
Yeah, well, speaking of ports, I think that is probably what we're going to expect the most. I mean, we're going to get a lot of remasters, especially from the Wii U coming through. I think Splatoon is going to be there day one.
Splatoon, yeah, for sure. Super Mario Maker. I don't know if it's day one, but that game has to be on the system.
Yeah, I think it will be a day one. I mean, how wouldn't you? I mean, it's so many people. Like, that's one of the most popular games on the Wii U, right? I would say.
Yeah.
Like, not from sales. I mean, I'm just talking about this, like how people are speaking about it and how it is in the public sort of perception.
$1 million question is: are they gonna bake in some kind of gimmick game like Wii Sports was for the Wii?
I don't even know if there's a gimmick to unless you're gonna.
The Joy-Cons can be separated. The Joy-Cons, by two players, and have. I believe I heard that the system has an accelerometer in it and a touchscreen. Oh, I can think of quite a few ways they could play on that.
Well, I think you would want a game that kind of showcases all of the system's capabilities. You know, that they've kind of been doing that for a really long time. I mean, they even had like look at Tearaway for the Vita. Like, that game uses every single capability of the Vita, even for better or for worse. But those games do exist, and I think I think you're right.
Tearaway,
yeah,
it's like Tearaway and Gravity Rush are the two games that really, really sell the Vita because you couldn't have them games properly on any other system without doing some serious porting work, which has happened with Gravity Rush, obviously, and Tearaway. They've both been ported to the PS4.
A lot of games have. There's always been a lot of like games that showcase either the performance of the system or the features. I mean, God, do anybody remember Lair?
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Well, look at speaking of games that were wildly popular on the Wii U, like Mario Kart 8 is going to get some sort of port. They'll probably.
I don't know if that's day one though. I think that's
day one.
That's later on in the summer. I think Smash
they're going to release DLC for it as well. I think
a lot of the competitive games, and I want to say Splatoon among them, is probably going to be reserved for summer.
You think so?
Yeah, I think because summer people are getting out more, and they want to put the games out there that can be that are more competitive, and more people that are competitive are typically people that are more active. And I think knowing Nintendo's way of thinking, that's probably how they're going to look at it, and they're going to try to dump everything in right in May or June.
All right, what do you guys think of a chance of because there's been obviously rumors that you'll be able to run the internet off this thing and all that sort of stuff, all that. Do you think Pokemon Go is going to make an appearance in any sort of shape or form on this thing?
No.
You think they're going to completely separate that?
There's a deal between Pokemon Company and Google for that game, as well as Apple. So I'm not sure what the deal entails because that's all private stuff. But I'm guaranteeing you that's going to be locked down to mobile.
Fair play. Well, obviously, there's the big one in the room, which is obviously Zelda. I think that one's going to be their day one. I think that's going to be their showcase title.
No? I don't think it's going to make it.
Oh, you think it's going to slip?
I have a fair reasoning to believe that it's not ready for launch.
See, I've heard all sorts of stuff. I heard it's ready. I heard it's going to be ready only in the U.S. territory. Like, I've heard all this
that's
stuff.
what I'm hearing.
I don't know, like. Yeah, it's one of those things for me. It's like you have Mario and like what else do you have? You need Zelda for that launch.
The ironic thing is, Zelda has never actually been a launch title.
Yeah.
When you think about it, Zelda has never been a launch title, so it's not going to be the forefront of Nintendo's marketing strategy to put the one game that they always save for when their system's in the prime.
But that's the only game they've been showing us for the last year in some.
Yeah. That's why everybody's making the jump to thinking it's a launch title. But
that would be what a slap in the face, though. Like all at E3, they had one game.
We are talking about Nintendo.
Yeah, and then it's like, here's the Switch. Oh, that one game that we've been showing you for a year and a half. Yeah, that's coming out later. But here's
it's coming out in
Switch.
November.
Cool. Yeah.
You do have to remember though that the Breath of the Wild wasn't actually originally designed for the Switch.
Yeah,
people have to remember, like, it was designed for the Wii U and only the Wii U at the time, and then they, like, probably a year and a half ago, they made the decision to port it over, and now it's been pushed as a Switch exclusive. Like, this is the thing that you need to play this game on. It's still coming out on the Wii U, guys. Like, you can still play this on a different system.
I don't want to bet on this, but I want to say Breath of the Wild November.
Oh my god. I hope not.
I think that's too late. Yeah, that's way too late, I think.
Whether it's way too late or not, that's what I think is going to happen.
Right, yeah, that's separate things, like what you think is going to happen, what you would like to happen, obviously.
What I would like to happen is at least
I would like to have it in March.
Yeah,
yeah, of course. But yeah, like, sort of wrapping this whole thing up, though, like, obviously it is getting released in March. Nintendo have said it over and over again. Probably the middle of March. A lot of people are speculating that's going to be March 17th.
Yeah.
For a worldwide release. I think between the three of us, we want it to be 250, but it could be 250 or 300, right? Games to be released are all over the place. I mean, if you look online, just the rumors and stuff, there's so many lists. Like, I've lost complete count. The only thing that I'm completely drawing a blank on is is the Square Enix games. And a lot of people are speculating if Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 7 remake's going to be out. It's like, no way in hell.
Dissidia.
I don't think.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some surprises or games that, like, oh, okay, that's a new game. Don't know I never heard of that. Yeah, like, they need more than just Mario. They need to whet the appetites of more than just fans. Like,
maybe they'll launch a new IP. Maybe. I mean, they did it in the Wii U. They showed Splatoon off, and maybe there's a new secret.
Yeah, Splatoon just came out of nowhere too, so it wouldn't surprise me to have something hiding.
Yeah, and there's a massive, from the trailer and from what all the rumors are saying, there's going to be a push for sort of esports stuff as well.
Right.
And if Splatoon's got that, and they've got some voice chat and a better ecosystem within the actual system as well, so they've got a better store, a better online capability, like the way you connect with friends. Like, I really hope they've learned their lesson about that stuff. Like, that's just more of a hope than anything.
I mean, they showed that in the Switch reveal, right? Like, they actually showed them playing. I mean, that's not going to happen. Splatoon in a massive stadium.
Maybe it will, though. That's the thing. Maybe it will. Like, we don't know.
Maybe that's their initiative for the system.
And I have heard, like, the off rumor now and then that Overwatch might be making it to the Switch, and if that happened, that would be huge for
I don't see esports. Overwatch touching the Switch.
Neither do I. I don't think it's going to happen, but if they can, like, come through with that and they actually show that next week, I think that could be huge for the Switch, but I don't think it will happen. I'm with you on this one, Josh.
Right. Okay, so
that's the rumor. Yeah,
wrapping this up, I have one last thing. What do you think the coolest or weirdest Joy-Con gimmick sliding controllers are going to be? All right, here's my idea, right? Okay. You're walking down the alley at night, right? Got off the train, wherever. As you do, late at night, you're playing your Switch, right?
As you do.
All of a sudden, from around the corner, two guys come. Hey, look at that nice Switch. Everyone knows people are going to be playing their Switches outside. I mean, iPhones have been stolen right out of people's hand for years. Guys come up to you, right? You got the Switchblade, okay? You push a button. And two blades come out of either side, and it's like, hey, come at me, bro. I'm gonna cut you up while I finish this game Splatoon. And then it's like, oh shit, and then they run away.
Do you write Nintendo's ads these days?
And no one's stealing.
The Switchblade. I mean, Jesus, Evan, what the fuck?
No one's stealing that out of your hands, man. You got two knives.
The Switchblade.
If they don't make that's money on the table.
That's gotta be Mad Catz right there.
Yeah, Mad Catz, you can have that for free.
I'm calling it now. There will be a Joy-Con, like the right hand side Joy-Con controller, which has got a little fishing rod on it for Zelda. I'm telling you right now. That's my. That's my big prediction. I think.
And
that's
there's going to be a
Monty.
wheel, and there's going to be a zapper. They're all
sure.
together.
Yeah, for Mario Kart 8 or whatever when they bring that out, yeah, they'll do the wheel thing. All right, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Switchblade. I mean, fucking hell, Evan. That is diabolical. Okay.
At least it didn't say something like a switchback for a backup feature or something.
Yeah. You know, funny thing, that's the only reason they ended up calling the new system the Switch, just so that they could make that pun.
The Switchblade.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Kimishima, he put a stamp on it once he heard that. He's like, yeah.
So when I tell my kid to go out and fix her Switch, she's going to go and try to fix a console now, huh?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, yeah, all right. Enough of the bad puns. I'm done.
Okay. All right.
Right, coming up to the end of the podcast, just want to say a massive thank you for Josh joining us again. Thanks, man. When was the last time you were on the podcast? It was like episode 2, did you say?
Yeah, episode 2, 10 months ago. Yesterday I was showing my best friend off because I was telling him I was going to be on the podcast today, and I was like, dang, I thought these guys have been out longer than a year. But it's only been 10 months.
Yeah. It's been going a while, but yeah, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. It's been cool to have our new discussions about 2017 and about the Switch. So thanks.
I need an excuse to be on so everybody can hear my voice and point at all the things I'm wrong about.
Dude,
fair enough.
That's us every single week. Don't worry about it. I'm sure there's people just rolling their eyes constantly at us, so it's all good. But we're gonna sort of sign off with our Twitter handles and any goodbyes we've got. So, Josh, do you want to kick us off, man? What is your Twitter handle and any goodbye you've got?
Twitter and anything else you want to find me on. FSB, Franklin Sierra Bravo, Alston. And that's it. And it was fun. I had a blast with you guys, and hopefully nobody comes at me with a frickin' switchblade.
Well, don't try to steal someone's Switch. That's all you got to worry about. Yeah.
Oh, I'll just switch them out for something else.
Okay.
Switch it out for all right. Yeah, Evan, what is your Twitter handle? And
this podcast desperately needs to end. You can catch me at TheStandUser on Sifted.net, Giant Pum, and Twitter. And Vin, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter at VinHillArt. You can find me in some of my finger paintings there from time to time. I'm also on Facebook as well. I've got a Facebook art page if you want to check that out. It's Facebook at VinHillArt. Same thing again. You'll probably find me on there. Bitching about stuff, as I always do. But yeah, other than that, thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate everyone tuning in. And if you do want to be on the podcast like Josh has been this week, all you have to do is message us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at podcast_reload. You can just message us on there and we'll try and get you on the show as soon as possible. We are thinning out a little bit and we're pretty much working from week to week, but we never have a shortage of people that want to come on, so that's always great. But yeah, get your name in as quick as you can and we'll try and get you on. Other than that, anything else, Evan? Is that it?
Nope, that is it. Thanks again, everyone, for listening.
All right, go turn the switch off now.
Yep.
Don't stab anyone, Jesus Christ.
It just makes sense for 0 degrees to be freezing, not 32.
What are you guys talking about now?
Metric system?
Imperial systems.
Of course. Like, why wouldn't I leave for, 30 seconds and come back? And you're talking about this shit.